All right, Loretta. Why? Why like this? I mean, it could have been laid out another way or used other colors, but why?
Well, I love working with denim and I love corduroy. Um, and I think it got something to do with uh, what our grandparents, mother, and all those used back in the day. They used what they had,
Hmm.
and denims or jeans. They look so strong, you know, and they last forever. And and the reason I got this corduroy in here is because this was I took it from a quilt that my mother made, and um, and this is some of this old corduroy from quilting bee.
That Sears corduroy.
That Sears corduroy, and this is all that I well I got some more left, but I just wanted to use this from the quilt, from her quilt rather,
Hmm.
and these old jeans or worn jeans,
Hmm.
um, and the and I just wanted to do something just like they used to do. This design, if you look at it once you open it up, it has some house tops in it. I
Hmm.
mean, it's a simple design quilt. It almost makes itself the jeans, the denim
Hmm.
make themselves.
Hmm.
And I just like to use the pockets, the hems as you see with the
Nothing went to waste.
nothing go to waste. And if it was anything that was left over, if I couldn't use it or didn't want to use it for the save it for my mosquitoes. I'm calling them my mosquitoes because they seem to like to bite me. But that was the reason.
Okay.
I named this quilt "Returning to G's Bend,"
Okay.
and the reason for that, this corduroy came from my mother quilting shed, and the style of the quilt is kind of made like the way they did in the back in the day, and and it's and and the reason I like these big stitches and this thick spread here is because that's what they used back in the day,
Mm.
and so that is why it is called Returning to G's Bend.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, you remember back in the day when we didn't use tacks. Now we use tacks. But remember way back when we first started sewing, you had to what they call whoop that quilt in. Boy, now that's your first practice sewing for real.
Oh yeah.
You tear up your hand trying to whoop that quilt in and get it over with.
Hmm.
You're bleeding all over the things. Yeah. But I think every quilt should have a title. There are going to be some that are memorable and some that are simply not, you know. Okay, you like, I call it improvisational quilt tops, where you create as you go along. And to me, it's abstract, right? Uh, do you do any pattern quilts?
Very true. I have done some,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I did a double wedding ring, and I
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I was how you say it
You was it, right?
yeah, I was it. I'm a real quilt maker now. I made a double wedding ring all by hand,
Mm-hmm.
and I did some bow ties, and but I found that it wasn't as fun to me. Yeah, I like to call it freestyling,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, but I prefer doing my own thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of us do, some of us don't. You know. And then sometimes you mix it up just a little bit to keep it interesting. Yeah. Christian, which quilts do you like to do?
I like the freestyle, I guess you can say.
Okay. All right, Pleasant, how about you?
I haven't done. I done one pattern, and that was that the bricklayer.
Was it
But
hard?
it wasn't hard. I think that's the easiest one to make.
Other than that 9 pad, yeah.
That's the easiest one to make.
I'm telling you, I like a good bricklayer quilt, a pretty bricklayer quilt. And not throwing names about, you know, but Walter's mother, Loretta, she does bricklayers. And they are huge. They are huge. But they're pretty, you know? They're gorgeous. A bricklayer is a pretty quilt.
But you know, with bricklayers and housetops and log cabins, even though they are pattern quilts, but the way that you can design them or throw a color in there really can throw it off, almost look like abstract also.
Yeah, exactly.
Because some bricklayers I've made, they have came out all, I call them crooked or lopsided.
If you ain't careful, it will be.
Yeah, depending on the way you cut it.
That's
cut
like
the
a
fra-
string quilt. It'll go off if you're not careful with it. And a string quilt is like a house top. You know, you're just going around in a circle. But if you're not very careful with that thing, it will get off on you. Ooh, and it won't take long. And you ain't no way you're gonna straighten it up unless you take it loose. Ain't no way.
You know, in making a quilt, guys, I find that, you know, like back in the day when they made quilts that may have been nothing to other people, but it was something to them at the time because it kept them, you know, it kept the family warm, or it kept the dust out of the house, or a hole covered up. And so even today, in the 20th century, I still find that you can take nothing, a little of nothing, to make something. And I was wondering, how do you all feel about that? How, you know, when it comes to using anything, you know, it may be old wood or old cloth or something. Do you find that you can make something out of it? Something out of nothing?
Well, you know, excuse me, concussion. You know, as you know, Loretta, Mary, you know, plus we had much of nothing, but we got something made art with, you know, something to keep us warm. You know, just like you got this quilt here. You know, this you said it's coming back to G's, man. You know, we had patches. You know, like old clothes we didn't throw, we put them together, but we didn't have bundles of stuff we can go get now. So it was just like you said, you proud of what we made from the old stuff we had, you know, or what with the little bit we found.
Pleasant.
I believe it's easy to get something out of nothing. Because for a long time, that's all we had was nothing.
Yeah.
So it's easy for us to make something out of nothing.
Kristen, you're the youngest one in there.
I guess I look at it like like just say you're making a piece and you see this one color and you know it won't work in it. And to you it's nothing at the time, but then when you go back to it later and it may be the one piece that works the best and maybe even defines another piece that you're making.
My opinion on this is something from nothing. We've always, and I can tell anybody, we've always had to make do with what we had. Which sometimes it was making do with a piece of bread and a little syrup, or a little piece of meat that went 6 or 7 different ways, you know. We've always had to do what we had to do to get what we need, where we need to get to. And this quilt pretty much is a testament of that. It's just like your mom. You go in the kitchen the day before grocery day, and they used to shop like once a month when they could afford it. And you didn't see nothing in that kitchen that you wanted. But let your mama go in there and come back out. And you got a whole meal. You got meat, bread, vegetables, you know. And you don't know how. She saw everything she saw in that kitchen, everything that you're eating at this point. You don't know how she got it. You don't know how she saw it. But it was already there. It was always there. So I guess doing something from nothing is just as long, it's as long as your imagination is. Yeah.
I would have to agree. So you can make nothing.
Something from nothing. Yeah.
Something from nothing.
Yeah.
Or make nothing into something.
Exactly, right? No, yeah.